Your host, Mike, and you're watching Paranormal Highways. My next guests are in the dark, so I'm trying to light a light here so we can see them there. They love playing in the shadows. Are you there, Christopher? Rachel? Rachel? Christopher? Does anybody hear them? Uh-oh. Are we having technical difficulty? Well, when we get them back here, I'll tell you what. Oh, yeah, we're having a technical difficulty. Hey, Hope, how are you? Well, thank you. I had a great time with everybody there. Here they comes back.
Here we are.
There they are. All right.
I pushed the button.
Everything Rachel touches, it gets crazy.
That's all right. That's Shantae. What's going on? How you? Welcome. All right, guys. We got Christopher and Rachel Booth. Lovely people. Love to talk to them. I met them. Actually, I met them from long distance a couple of times, and that was at Scarefest. And I finally got to get beside them at the Inner Light Festival, and I got to talk to them. And these are great people you want to talk to. Christopher, I love his lectures. Actually, one of them hit for me.
Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. But they're our guests tonight. They love to play in the shadows, and check it out. They're in the shadows. So I tell you what, Christopher and Rachel, you all go ahead and get started here and tell us a little bit about your. Honestly, I want to know about the bazaars that you all have. Your haunted bazaars.
Well, the haunted bazaars are kind of a new idea that we've had because obviously with all the different things that we've been doing, like movie and research and all kinds of stuff like that. We decided that we were collecting a lot of really cool stuff that people, other people would be interested in. And we started to get some really heavy duty stuff. Like we were able to get the real exorcism box of Annalise Michelle, which is real Emery Rose. And that's where it all started. And I became addicted, and we were actually collecting these things for our new movie, The Attached. And before I know it, now we have 2 houses of this stuff. And a lot of it, we go on the road and sell it after we've filmed it. So that's kind of what we're doing.
So your movie Attached is already out, or when's it going to?
We're actually filming it right now as we speak.
Oh, so go ahead, Rachel.
We get excited because we find all these new ideas and these new stories that come to us. So we keep filming and filming, and we'll eventually end filming. But all these great stories keep popping up.
So as you all film, so you all keep coming up with different ideas how you want to shoot the scene and stuff.
Well, it's kind of like our films have always been what the ghost wrote, meaning that when we research, even when we did Death Tunnel, which is all about Wayville Sanatorium,
right?
All the research and even some of the evidence we found kind of tailored the script because we want to do everything, obviously as truthful as we can get all the history and all that kind of stuff together. So I think everything we do kind of is based off the evidence and everything we collect in the archives and the history. And then we put it all together like a jigsaw puzzle and tell a very emotional, scary, and beautiful story.
I haven't been able to. That's like the stuff that you all do. So I haven't been able to get too nitty gritty into it because you all do the auctions and stuff like that after you do the shows.
We only do auctions like I think 3 times, 4 times a year tops. We mostly what we do is we end up filming throughout the whole year, and then in between the filming dates, we do an odd convention or whatever we do. We have many other things that other companies, like we have a CBD business that does really well, and because it's 100% natural, and we tried it, and we had a friend who made it. We said, this is great stuff, and we want to help everybody else. So we kind of became a distribution arm of that company. And we have many other companies, whether it's film companies, book publishers, a record company, whatever it is. We do everything to do that's passionate and creative, really.
All the
Wow.
things.
Go ahead, Rachel. Go ahead.
Oh, we just make all the things. If we get excited about it, we do it. Like jewelry, repurposing dolls, even buying and reselling really old dolls. Sometimes Chris finds the coolest old dolls, and they just kind of fall in our laps, like not in a weird way, but they're there. And sometimes I just want them out of the house because they can be kind of weird, but most of the time they're really cool looking things.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask too. When you all are collecting all these stuff, do you all actually catch anything that has like a bad attachment or anything like that?
There's only two things we had that had a weird attachment, and one of them was from Waverly Hills Sanatorium. It was what was it? An IV bottle. And we've had several of them, but this one made everything go crazy. And then, Rachel, I believe you saw someone in the basement. Right?
Yep.
Really?
It was right after we moved into the house we're in now. I was in the basement working on some stuff, and I saw this hand come out of nowhere and shake we had a fake tree in the basement, and shake the tree. And I was like, Chris, you got to stop messing with me. And then I heard footsteps upstairs, and I was like, oh my God, that's not Christopher. But he liked to taunt me every time I go in the basement. So I was like, you've got to go. I'm done with you.
Yeah, no doubt. Did you ever figure out who or what it was?
It was a man that I think died in Waverly, and he just liked to mess with people. So
that was one, really the only one, and we got rid of that one.
Right.
We pretty much can feel like the Exorcist box of the Annalise Michelle, the real Emery Rose. That was a scary thing to open when it arrived. We did a live broadcast of the actual opening when we were filming up in Indiana in a old building, and that was beautiful. But the energy was not scary. It was more, I guess, divine. It was a divine light, something that obviously was accomplished, and it felt really full of energy and very powerful. And I think the other thing, what was the other thing that was bad energy? There was one thing we just had the other day.
We actually just did a live. I don't know if you happened to see the live of opening the haunted suitcase that we've had.
No, I missed that one.
You missed it? Oh, I think is it still posted on our Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay. So, before we bought this, we were driving, I think, was it St. Albans? I don't remember where we were. We were driving somewhere, and, I was driving, and Chris was looking at this item, and he was like, oh my God, this is intense. This is crazy. And I'm just doing my own thing, driving, and I see this picture out of the corner of my eye, and it freaked me out so bad, I about drove off the road. And I said, I don't know what that is, but we have to buy it because there's something about it. We just have to get it. And we brought it home. I can't even have it in the actual house because it makes the whole house feel different.
Really?
So we downstairs around, we have a lot of crucifixes sitting on it. We have holy water surrounding it. We have salt and stuff. I've smudged the thing probably 4 times, but it just creates this very sad feeling in the house. So I don't like it in the house for very long. But you'll have to watch it. The suitcase is so intense, and just even opening it in the house was very nauseating. And I know Chris doesn't want to get rid of it, but I think at some point I'm going to have to say, okay, enough is enough. It's got to go.
I actually don't want to get rid of it, to be honest with you, because
Great.
I don't want to give it. No, Shane, I don't want to give it. In fact, we can't wait to hang with you at Scarefest. But I think we all met on the concept of attachments. I think we were all talking about that, wasn't we, when we first met? at
Yeah, it
Scarefest.
was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well, this
Yeah, it
is
was.
kind of, yeah, exactly. And I was telling you, we're looking for stuff for the show. Well, this is what has happened. It's actually snowballed. Not only is it incredibly exciting, I mean, we have so much stuff in our house, whether it's an old 1920s wheelchair where we hear a person actually walk through the house at night, which is weird from the wheelchair. And we have some incredible human hair dolls where they actually cut their hair off the children when they died and sewed the hair on the dolls. And they believe that that is their children. The soul rests in their children. And we got them. This is from the late 18th century. This happened.
We bought those off a psychic medium who she warned us never separate these dolls because they have to be together. The brother and sister can never be separated. And we don't ever plan on doing that.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful dolls.
That's one of the stories in the show, The Attached, that we tell about what happened to these children. And I don't want to give the story away, but it's very sad. And so we were able to get those dolls, and the energy is overwhelming through them, as well as we're talking about the exorcism kit of Emily Rose, the Annalise Michel. That's an intense, if you know the real story, not necessarily the film story or the book story.
It's very close.
But the true story,
Right.
it needs to be told because she's a hero. I mean, in Germany, she's a saint. Because of what she did. And she basically died with the demons trapped inside her, which is a different take on an exorcism because usually you have an exorcism, right? And then you're not possessed anymore and you go on with your life and the demons go wherever one would imagine. This case, that didn't happen. She died with the demons inside her to trap. You see.
So in other words, she held it in so it would not get out.
Correct. That's what she believed in her faith. And she believed that she would take them basically to hell with her. And it's a very strong, powerful story. And we have excerpts of her diary, of her real diary, that we want to help tell the story. Not like we'll be scary, but we don't want to do like a horror movie out of it. We want to do a very emotional thriller drama out of it. So that was one of the episodes also in the Attached.
You want to put Annalisa's side into it, how strong and why she's a hero on all this.
Yeah, it's really an underdog story here. We're looking at it from she wanted people to see that there was a God. I know at the time that she was possessed, Germany was in a very bad place. They didn't really push religion at the time. They were very skeptic about everything. They actually pushed her case under the rug. They didn't want to call it an exorcism at all that happened to her because then they would have to say it was a religious experience. So she felt that it was her job to get people to see the truth again. And it's really a sad but beautiful story. You know, she's reaching out to say, hey, there is hope in the world. You don't have to feel alone. There's people here that can help you on the religious side. So I think it's a very beautiful story.
Oh, well, just from listening to what you got, and somebody said in the comments a minute ago that the trailer to that, have you put out a trailer to it, was awesome?
Yeah, we have I think it's a 7-minute little sneak teaser that was shot at St. Albans Sanatorium, and that story is about Rebecca, who was a lady that hung herself inside the asylum, and we found out her story through the archives and through all kinds of different things, and then what we wanted to do was give a tribute to her because what happened to her was absolutely terrible. So we felt that we were drawn to tell her underdog story. So that is one of the stories, and that story is featured in that teaser. But we will have a new teaser
at Scarefest
next week. Actually,
is it? Will it be at Scarefest?
No, it will be playing at our booth. We're not actually going to speak this year because we actually this year, for everybody that is thinking about going to Scarefest, you should go. Because it's going to be bigger than ever. They've got a great lineup of horror stars and paranormal stars.
We'll be there too, you know.
And we actually have 2 booths this year. We have, I think, 40 feet.
Yeah, we have
40
like 4
feet.
booths.
We have 4 booths this year because one of them, you ready for this? One of them is going to be just showing some of our haunted objects that we've been talking about, including the Annalise Michelle box, including the human hair dolls, including the haunted suitcase, including Lizzie Borden stuff. I just got some stuff from Lizzie Borden, which is incredible.
Some
Did you get the axe?
I'm not going to say anything. You'll see it.
Oh, come on. Leave me hanging.
Oh, well,
That's all right.
It's better than getting axed, right?
Hey, good idea. Exactly. So you've got 4 booths at Scarefest this year?
Yes.
Yes.
I
And
mean,
you can get any bigger.
Well,
Here
we have
are.
we have 2 booths that just sells and you can, obviously meet and greeters, and we have autographed pictures that's, available, and we have the DVDs, the books, and then we have Rachel's custom jewelry, and then we have hidden crosses that we were able to get from a convent that we used in a movie, and now we're selling a lot of them. We have about 150 rosaries from the convent nuns that we got, and we actually donated to the convent, and they gave us these rosaries. So what we do is we film some of them because a lot of them have a beautiful energy attached to them. We've been able to capture blue light.
It's amazing.
Sort of coming from the rosary. It's incredible. And then we sell quite a few of them. And we sell Ouija boards. We make Ouija boards, as you know.
I see one behind.
And then 2 other booths. Yeah, of course. And the other 2 booths.
The booths.
The booths and the booths.
The booths and the booths.
Are just for haunted bazaar props and real artifacts, like stuff from Waverly Hills that we were able to get, stuff from the Annalise Michelle case.
Some things from World War II.
All kinds of and they're all, supernatural stuff. It's all paranormal related. Jack the Ripper, Dr. Jekyll and the Hyde, The Legend of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, there it is.
I've got some incredible stuff. So
you actually got stuff from Jekyll and Hyde?
Yes. Now, Jekyll and Hyde is a fictional story, but if you know Robert Louis Stevenson's play on why he wrote that, I don't want to give it away. You will see that at Scarefest.
You won't give anything away.
This man is good at keeping secrets, okay?
Well,
and he won't say nothing. And that's the thing. He won't say anything. You have to come and see it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, tell me. And it takes like so long for him to actually tell me what he bought.
Well, we just got some incredible ancient voodoo dolls, which is like, I can't tell you everything.
I found those. Actually.
Oh my God!
I found
the other ones.
Oh, the other one. Okay, sorry.
One. No, not that one. Baby.
Sometimes I can find things. Okay, most of the time. I find it good.
Goodness. So is that something that you're going to reveal at Scarefest too?
Oh, there's all kinds of things.
There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, we've got death masks. We've got from the plague. We have real ones. We've got a Roman cast of a catacomb skull,
which is so cool.
And it's made out of metal, which is incredible. Oh my God.
It's going to be there?
Yeah, all this stuff is going to be there.
Oh.
We have a 1980-58 autopsy table that maybe Rachel will just lay on.
Robin Terry called us a booth hog.
Oh, booth hog. Booth hogs, there you go.
Sorry, not sorry. We have cool stuff.
They do, and I'm telling you, their stuff is awesome, man. As you can see, there's Ouija board. I've got a exorcism kit down here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
those exorcism kits are incredible. And I couldn't even keep them in stock. We only had like 4 of them. And of course I want to keep everything. You know what the problem, Shane, is I want to bloody keep everything.
See, that's what Six said. He goes, you tell everybody you're going to sell it, and then it goes into your collection. So you don't sell it. Right.
It's so hard because I feel an attachment to it in the sense of.
Oh, I see what you did there.
No, I do. I feel like, for instance, the rosaries. We have a lot of them, so that's okay. But we've obviously grabbed a few of them.
Not okay. I want to keep them all.
No.
I want to roll around in them.
It was either Victoria's Secret or a rosary.
I'll take them both.
So we have Rachel and Victoria's Secret wearing a rosary. Perfect.
I will have my lingerie and my rosaries too, okay?
She doesn't need cake. She just needs her lingerie and her rosary.
That's right. No cake.
And Rachel, are you the one that made the witch's necklace? Is that what you call it?
Yes, I made those.
That's one of the things that Rachel's made, and I have purchased myself.
Thank you. I'm sure it looks really nice on you.
Oh, that's when I'm about to go to bed and feeling all frisky, and
I can see that.
then the wife's looking at me like, "Are you okay?"
That's funny.
Good grief! So how many movies have you? Oh my goodness! I just sat here and got it tangled. How many movies do you have out, Christopher and Rachel?
Oh, good.
Well, through my history of my life, I've done over 111 movies.
What?
Yeah, I used to work. I don't know if you knew this. Here's a little. I used to work for Playboy, and back in the days.
Yeah, he used to walk.
Back
around.
in the early 80s and the 90s, I was a production designer, costume designer, and we actually ended up making them ourselves of very high-end Playboy films. Back in the day when Playboy films were like really big budget, do you remember the movie Caligula with Malcolm McDowell?
It sounds familiar, but I can't.
Oh, Penthouse put it out, and it was like a multi-million-dollar film. Peter O'Toole was in it. There were all these stars in it, but the only thing was it was X-rated. We made films, but they were obviously X-rated back in the day in the Playboys when the budgets were $250,000 a movie back then. Of course, now all that business has changed with the internet, and all that business died, and now it became, I guess what the word porn would come to mind. But we started doing that. And it was actually a good way for us to learn and film on a budget, because we made 2 a month. We made about 86 films for them. And we had to do 2 in a month. We had to edit them, do the music. We had to do everything to make them really high end. And then Playboy would sell them around the world as erotic thrillers. And which, turned out very well. But after a while, obviously we got tired of doing that. Too many boobs, I think. And
Come on, don't.
Hey, I've never heard too many boobs. You see, as a problem.
We used to film boobs, but now we film orbs. Okay.
Now we just film boobs, right?
How did you go from boobs to orbs?
Well, see, none of them are real anyway, right? In Hollywood, boobs or orbs aren't real. So anyway, I got tired of it, and I have to tell you, and I'll be very honest with you, and I'm not ashamed of anything I've done. There was a part in me that said I felt really bad doing them anymore. And I think it was like when we were young, it was like, hey, we're making a movie, but maybe not facing the fact that people were forwarding fast through what we made and just getting to the sex, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And we made the production value. And actually, when they had the sex scenes, Philip and I actually walked off the set and other people filmed the sex. We were just there to make them into looking like real movies. That's what they had us do. But after a while, I think my soul started to feel, it's really weird, Shannon. I really don't open up to too many people about this. But people will say, oh, you must have had a fantastic life. You had it made. I wish I had your job. All men would definitely say that. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't enjoy doing it, really. I saw a lot of people that were hurt and got on the wrong side of life, so to speak. Young girls that would get into the business and would end up being destroyed because, one thing led to another, and then they were doing a lot of drugs to be able to do what they had to do, and then they couldn't get out of it. That was bothering me. seeing all this, and I couldn't do it anymore. So Philip and I said, we can't do this anymore. And we were really there to make movies. So we saved everything we made up from those Playboy films and made our first horror film, which I think it cost us $180,000 to do.
Oh
And
wow.
it was called Dark Place, which had Matthew McGrory, the dude from Devil's Rejects, and Thousand Corpses. He's a big giant. He's a guy in Big Fish, if you know the giant dude.
Yeah, I think so. If I'm
Yeah,
thinking the right person.
yeah, he was seven something tall. He had I forgot what the disease is called. Giantitis.
Giantism.
Yes,
Giantism.
giantism. Yeah, he was a beautiful man, and unfortunately, he died a few years back in Las Vegas. And our film actually was his last film he made, and then he went to Vegas. And I remember him calling me up and say, "Why don't you meet me at a bar?" And I was always too damn busy, you know. I was always editing, and I regret
Yeah.
that. I was too busy, and he died that night.
And that's one of those times where you wish just one more time, you know,
I really wish,
to
because he was a beautiful man. I drove him around on the set. I was the producer of the film, and I drove him around on the set. And I had a Range Rover, and I actually had to remove the front seat, and he sat in the back seat because his
oh
legs were so
wow.
big he couldn't get in a car. And he was in constant, God bless him, but he was in constant pain.
Oh
He was
yeah.
getting harder to walk, and his cute little heart was beating over, trying to feed this big body, and he couldn't handle it anymore. So,
Yeah.
God bless him. But that was our first movie, and it did really well.
It's a fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. I absolutely love it.
It's about a boy locked in a box outside in Appalachia, and what would go through your head if you were locked in like a wooden box. It's like a
It's,
psychological movie, and it's a horror movie too. But that did really well in the foreign. Didn't do too good in America, unfortunately. I think at the time when we released that movie, like Saw was just hit,
oh
and we weren't, I guess, violent enough. I guess we don't make slasher films. You see, we make ghost stories and supernatural movies. We don't make slasher films.
right.
But that led us to doing Death Tunnel, which Sony Pictures picked up, and that became a cult film for us. And we did really well on that film. And of course, the documentary of what happened to us, Sci-Fi picked up, and that became Spooked, and that is what launched our paranormal career.
What how do we get to how can we watch your movies? I mean, besides going to get DVR or anything like that or
Well,
whatever.
I mean, they're kind of everywhere. I mean, we have a few that's still on Sci-Fi. I don't know when they play them. They don't really tell us, but they own them still. So, Dead Still, the latest one on Sci-Fi about a haunted post-mortem death Victoria camera, that's playing on Sci-Fi Channel now. That's actually a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
It's fabulous. It
They
has
actually
Ray
bought
Wise in
they
it.
actually bought it off of us and put their name on it. They actually hired us to make it.
Oh
But
wow.
Sony Pictures did Death Tunnel. That is on Vudu. You can still see that on Vudu and on Google and Amazon Prime. You can see if you type in the Booth Brothers on Amazon Prime. I think we have 4 movies up on Amazon Prime now. We had to take 4 of them down because Destination America Discovery Channel just bought 4 of our films.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they bought The Exorcist File, which they aired 2 years ago. They bought Spooked, The Ghost of Waverly Sanatorium. They bought The Possessed, which was also on the Sci-Fi Channel. And then they bought Children of the Grave, which was on the Sci-Fi Channel. So we're not allowed to air them anywhere now because they own them for
Because
5 years. So
that's
that's what that goes.
that's a good thing though, right?
Yeah, it is. They were really great to work with. I have to tell you, they paid us quick. It was one of the best deals I've ever done. They were really sweet, very considerate, very respectful about how they were going to edit our films because they edit them down to 1 hour. They really cared about what we thought. It's an incredible experience. I worked with them on with TWC on and Chip on the Exorcist live show, Exorcism Live. And
Yeah.
that's why I actually met Discovery and Destination America, and they were really sweet. And we talked for a long time, and I told him about what else we did, and they wanted everything we did pretty much. So that's how that went.
Well, that works
now
out
we're
great.
now we're working on a new show, the Attached, and we hope to have that out next year. But we are making it more independent because we want to keep control on this one. I don't want to get into it, but we've done a few film deals where we've lost a little bit of control, and it was a really a lot rougher ride than it really should have been, to be honest with you. So we want to try to keep control of this show because we want to keep the emotion. We want to keep the reality of the realism and not fake paranormal it out like a lot of shows do.
And that's part of what takes so long when you're out to get real evidence. You don't just get evidence on what you're looking for the minute you go in and go, okay, we're done, let's wrap this up. It can take years sometimes. I know we had been to St. Albans 3 or 4 times before we actually got some pretty good EVPs from Rebecca's room. We got a baby cry the last time we were in her room, and that was really amazing. And it's 2 years.
And we got an incredible Class A plus EVP, and it was a woman or a girl, it's hard to tell their age, saying, "I know what you did."
Oh, and that was so intense.
And it was Class A. You could hear every word, like, "I know what you did," just like that.
Oh my goodness, that'd been great.
It was incredible, and that goes really well, obviously, with the story that we're telling. And it was in her room. She, I don't know if you know the story, but Rebecca unfortunately committed suicide in one of the bathrooms. They call it the suicide. If Arnold, I saw Arnold is online. I don't know if he's still out yet. I think he's out there. We used a lot of people, extras, in the film at St. Albans, beautiful children. We have Reese, who's absolutely a sweetheart. She's a little girl that she's in the film. We use a lot of locals in our films, and it works out really well. Not locos, but locals. You have to be really careful.
Sometimes you never know.
But it's Rebecca was a girl or a woman. We're not sure of her age exactly, but she entered the asylum, and either she was pregnant or she got pregnant there by one of the staff. We're not really sure of everything, but we know that she did lose her baby, and they took her baby through a miscarriage. They took her baby away, and she broke in and grabbed her baby back and kept it in a big glass jar.
That's the one that was behind the door, right? Or the hidden.
Yeah, correct. So we tell that story, and we actually film a girl, obviously, reenacting of hanging herself. And when we were filming that, the whole room went through the roof. And of course, Rachel had gotten an attachment from one of the cells. I believe it's Arnold should be able to tell me that is Arnold 8. I think it's Arnold. It's cell 8, isn't it? Or cell 7?
Well, I know that cell that I got attacked in, Christopher got attacked in first, one of the first times we went there. And he said instead of having a spirit walk through him, it was like something attached to his back, and he couldn't get it off of him. It is really interesting. He had his phone recording the whole thing because we were doing an EVP session, and he was spinning around trying to, like, you got to get off me, you got to get off me. Well, that video disappeared. We went back to look for it, and it was gone. Out of all the videos that he took, that one just disappeared.
We had a hard time capturing even all the audio tapes would get erased, and I don't know why.
And then I had done a bunch of behind the scenes.
Cell 7. Cell 7, yeah.
Yeah, we had gone, and I had done a lot of behind the scenes videos and photos and stuff. And my phone crashed the day we came home, and I lost everything. And I was like, really?
For those who have gone to St. Albans, and I think you've been there. I know TWC's been there a few times. Yeah. But it's an incredible place. I mean, there were places that just perform. Like you take Ashmore Estates, for instance. Ashmore is, to me, this is my view, is even becoming more active. We've done it a few times. But I tell you, the last time we did it got somewhat violent. I mean, I'm not saying this in a bad way to push down the spirits that are there or the place, but for us, it became something happened there that was really dark. And what we had done, we had visited, there's a bridge a few miles down the road where this is a true story, where they found a woman that was, I believe her head was cut off and all her limbs. All they found was a torso. Yeah. They just found a torso. And her husband, he confessed to it, I think just a couple of years ago. Yeah. And this, you're talking like 20 or 30 years this happened ago. And he just confessed to it a couple of years back. So wow. I had to go see this, crybaby type bridge, if you know what I'm talking about. It looks like old Indiana Railroad bridge, train bridge. Anyway, oh my God. I just got so sick. Everybody, like 7 of us there.
It was very interesting because every single one of us that went there, they had experiences in their daily life for even like weeks after going there. Nausea, like dreams about this bridge, weird feelings, a constant state of even depression for a couple of people that had gone. And it was so overwhelming. And then to go to Ashmore the next day and to do an investigation, it felt like some of that feeling came over into Ashmore because there was some spirits and some people that we were communicating with that we'd never been involved with. And we've been there a lot.
So I think it maybe something followed us back, but I got really ill that night and Rachel got really ill and she got knocked down. But anyway, we're going back on September 6th and 7th.
Next weekend.
If anybody would like to join us, I think that's next weekend. There's a few tickets we're doing it with Chad Lindbergh. And he's always fun to do it with. So we're going to go back there and do it after we do SilCon in the day. We're only going to be at SilCon, though, from 11 till 5 on Saturday. And then we have to shoot off to a ghost hunt. We have to shoot off to do it Friday night as well. So, but we just love what we do. And I have to just tell you, Shane, I can't wait to sit down. We have a drink and tell you you're going to die when you see what we're bringing to the Haunted Bazaar exhibit.
Oh, I can't wait.
He's going to be like, I don't have enough money for this.
Well, the thing of it is I was so upset because there were so many things that I was bidding with everybody in the last one. In your auction, and I had to go, and I forgot what it was because I knew it was Sunday, and I was doing GHW that weekend, and I forgot where we was at, but I got in late Sunday night, and I got my shower, got everything done, and I looked up, and it was 9 o'clock.
It's okay. Some of those people on our auction can be a little vicious trying to get the items they want. So you got to be careful.
And that's the thing. I wanted to be honest and true with it. And I'm pretty sure you all can't see everything that goes on. But I mean, if you looked at the notifications that pop up, you can say, wait, you was 30 minutes late. I can't let you have it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we do the best we can with a Facebook auction. I mean, people get some really good deals there. And I mean, it's a great thing is all this stuff, though, has history that we sell. I mean, the crossers are, over 100. Some of them are over 115 years old, and the nuns and the priests from St. Joan of Arc, I mean, they wore them for 100 years around their, through their families, and they wore them on their bodies. And it's like you can feel their energy. And if you're going to do something, do it. And you're going to get a crucifix or rosary, get one from a nun or get some, a good one, I suppose. No, not a bad nun. Though I have to tell you.
Are those upside down?
Now, hold on. You got to explain the nun. You know it?
I do like bad nuns. Rachel's a bad nun every now and then.
Oh, my gosh. Always goes there.
But I just love. Don't you just love history? I mean, the fact when you can touch something. I mean, that's the whole concept of the attach. If you touch it, and it's something that someone had believed in so much that become maybe even obsessed with it. Now and they passed away, and you've somehow gotten it. Now you're touching it, and if you're sensitive, you're going to feel their energy. So hopefully, it's a good attachment, which. We only deal with good attachments. Any bad ones, we immediately get rid of. We actually
that stupid suitcase.
We buried We've buried a lot of them. You know, we've gotten some zombie baby dolls from New Orleans, which have spells on them from hoodoo, and we've ended up burying them with salt because they feel too bad.
Now,
But
you say zombie baby dolls? I mean, you're talking baby dolls that have the attachments, but
I'm talking about people that, or this in particular person, I won't mention the names. We were down in New Orleans. Philip and I actually moved to New Orleans from Los Angeles for about half a year. We were researching and doing some shows on real vampirism and real voodoo and hoodoo. I mean, the real deal, the real vampires, not not the sparkly ones.
Ew.
So we went down there. Yeah, and we went down there and we learned a lot, but we got close and it got scary and a little too touchy. And I ended up getting some of these zombie babies, what they called them, and basically they're life-size babies done from a doll, and they're wrapped in twine, silver, which are the two ingredients. Some of the voodoo hoodoo is the rope, the twine, the silver, and then they are painted to look absolutely horrific, burnt, deformed. I mean, not just like a doll that you would put up and say, "Well, that's cool." I mean, truly looked like a baby had been, burned or
wow.
polished. And but
So,
there's some. They look like something Marilyn Manson would have in a way. The thing is,
Some of them look like Marilyn Manson.
they look so cool that you want one. And I saw the art form in it personally, and I
yeah.
wanted one. So luckily, I bought it. Now I don't know if everybody knows this, but if you go down into New Orleans and someone offers to give you something, you should not take it. That is a form of control. That's how they control you, through gifts. So if you want something from somebody, a proprietor who's possibly a hoodoo artist, more so than voodoo, buy it, because the spell does not hold on a bought object, because then you control it because you bought it. So I bought it, but the people around me could not stand being around it. They threw up. So the story behind the zombie babies is the person's mother who made them used to be a doctor and had gave over 100 abortions. She felt so terribly bad that she made a sort of what's the word, a worship, an altar, like a statue, a worship statue out of each doll to give back the life that she took,
Oh my
and
goodness.
wrapped them in twine, and they were in bells, and then they made them mutilated. And that was the story of the zombie babies. But the thing was too much, not for me, but for people around me. I dug it because I'm into documenting the dark, but
Right.
they thought it was. And then, of course, Shane and everybody out there, there's that thing, if you know about voodoo, one day you wake up, maybe you've done something wrong, maybe you haven't, maybe somebody thought you did something wrong. Your door knocks, you open the door, and there's nobody there. But on your doorstep is a curse, is a voodoo candle, doll, whatever you, hoodoo, voodoo, whatever is on your step. And if you believe in it, now you freak out. So you run around New Orleans looking for the person who made that doll, because they're the ones who transferred the curse onto it, or the blessing, whatever it may be. And you go and you try to find it, and they say, I can't remove that. You have to go to Papa this or Mama this. So you
Oh,
find them, and then they say, I want $10,000 to remove the curse.
oh my goodness. Did that turn into a scam or is it a scam?
No, I have to say, and I hope people don't throw things at me, but a lot of it is scams, as much witchcraft is. Now, I'm not saying it all is. A lot of it's true. And you have a tendency, it comes to you for what you believe in it. For instance, here's an incredible story. There was this woman who was going out with this guy for a long time. It was her love of his life, of her life, right? But he left. So she went to a voodoo priestess and say, I need this guy back in my life. Can you put him back in my life? She said, okay, give me $40. She did something, gave it to him and said, do this, go home and do it. Well, she did it. The very next day, where she's working at a restaurant. Across the street is a bar. She sees this guy working into the bar, and it's her boyfriend she lost. He came back and was working across the street in a bar.
Oh, wow.
So every day she got to see him. But the problem was, Shane, is that he was married and had a child now, and he brought his wife to work. So she had to watch him and his wife come in every day.
Oh, so she actually suffered.
You got to be careful for what you wish for. When you do voodoo, you have to be totally precise.
Yeah, I don't mess with voodoo. I'm scared of voodoo. Yeah, hoodoo's the same thing, isn't it? No! Oh, I thought I lost you.
No,
I thought that was the long dramatic pause
I know, I was
to the
like-
story.
I know.
I was like, no, I didn't lose him.
You don't know because we're in the shadows.
But I do believe it's funny because, and I'll ask this question for your viewers. Do you believe voodoo will hurt you if you don't believe in it? And do you believe witchcraft will hurt you if you don't believe in it? Meaning, I don't believe in it, it can't hurt me. Do you think it will no matter what, whether you believe it or not?
I believe it's within your energy, the strength of your energy.
I mean, it's almost similar to a Ouija board. A lot of people say do not use a Ouija board. And I have to tell you, using a Ouija board, you go and you do an EVP session, you're asking questions. When you use a Ouija board, you're just text messaging. That's all you're doing. You're doing the same thing. But you're figuring that this Ouija board is going to bring a demon through.
How is it that a text message, so to speak, is going to get you more possessed than hearing the actual voice coming through a recorder or hearing one in real time? I always thought that was funny. I tell people all the time, nobody's going to walk around saying they got possessed by a pendulum or dowsing rods. Then you sound like a crazy
Shane,
person.
I know you're in the paranormal, you're ghost hunter. Everybody out there that's a ghost investigator, if you remember, back in the days of the Hans Holzer, the great Hans Holzer, the Ed and Lorraine Warren, Barry Tapp, the parapsychologist of the entity. Back in those days, they believed if you played an audio tape recorder back with an EVP, your house would become cursed.
I've heard that.
So are we suddenly throwing that issue out now?
They swept it under the rug.
And the thing is, I tell you, there are some things that are unbearable to listen to. And one of them, we did a show called The Exorcist File, which is on the Destination America now. And it was featured in Ghost Adventures as well as TWC's Exorcism Live. They didn't believe in the Ouija board neither. And the Ouija board really, the Ouija board for them, I don't know if you know the story of the real exorcist, but you know why the boy was even talking to the Ouija board?
No.
Besides, his aunt taught him how to do it, but he was asking the Ouija board where the money was that his aunt had hidden in the house. His aunt had saved money and put it in a cookie tin and hid it in the house. And he goes, I need to find it. So he asked the Ouija board where the money was.
Oh, my goodness.
Incredible facts. It's incredible stuff in all these stories when you do all the research, and this is what we do. I have a copy of the Real Exorcist Diary. I have a copy from 1935 of the real 1928 exorcism case, which was based the last exorcism of the girl crawling on the ceiling that really happened in Iowa in 1928.
That case is freaky. Like, if you think The Exorcist is crazy, like, reading the case study on this chick in Iowa is crazy business. Like, there's this part, for one, she was, they did the exorcism in a convent with nuns, which is creepy.
But if you saw the TV show, The Exorcist on whatever, Fox, I think it was on whatever.
I don't even remember.
They had a scene where nuns were giving an exorcism to her. And I
they
guarantee you they've
doing their
researched this. They're researching the truth here.
Like, the girl was about my size, a very small, petite girl, and they said there was a point where she had bent the bed that she was on because she had gained so much weight in an hour or so, and she hadn't been eating anything, and she would like vomit or expel this massive amount of liquids, and she wasn't eating anything. They said it was unreal, and these were all things that were seen by the nuns. It just crazy stuff.
I'm going to give you a real good thing. Do you know how Annalise Michel? Have you seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose? Have you seen
Yes.
that? Okay. That was based on the Annalise Michel. Actually, it's pronounced Michel because she's German. Everybody calls her Michelle, but it's Annalise Michel, really. Do you know how was one of the main reasons that she finally gave in that she was possessed? How she really found out?
Wow.
Well, first of all, we all know that she saw demon faces, which, like in the movie, she saw people look like devils. She wasn't able to look at a Mary statue or anything like that.
She couldn't even touch her rosary.
But the main thing is when she went to touch the rosary that she had her whole life, and she was a devout Catholic. I mean, she was so devout, she would whip herself for other people's sins. I mean, she was a radical Catholic, very, a lot of empathy and a lot of devout in the sense of that she would take the pain of others, which is, God bless her for that. But she went to reach out for her rosary, and her hand became catatonic. It froze in a paw-like vision. If you read it, you'll hear that her hands looked like paws. Well, her hands didn't look like paws. She became arthritic, and her hands froze in a catatonic state only when she went to grab her rosary. And fascinating. So think about it. When you go reach out, get your rosary, your hand suddenly stops from going in. You cannot touch anything. You cannot grab it because your hand becomes like, like you have a cramp or something. Incredible stuff that we're finding out through the real diaries of Annalise. And that will be featured in the attached as well.
Oh my God, that is yeah, Sherry. I agree with you. I can listen to them all day long myself. I had one question that somebody asked a minute ago. They said, "What if the EVP?" Hold on, I'll find it. What if the EVP? What if the EVP is backwards to start with?
Well, I mean, first thing I do is I would try to reverse it and see if it, gave me more evidence or more, clues to see what it's trying to say. It's an interesting concept. I don't believe that, that's like a dark entity talks backwards and a thing talks forward. If you listen to the real Annalise Michel tapes, which is available on YouTube, we have them transcriptions so you can actually know what she's saying because she speaks in German. She's obviously full on German. She talked the 7 spirits that possess her. One of them is Hitler, Nero. I forgot some of the other people's.
Judas.
Judas. She was possessed by all these bad people, basically, according to her. And her audio tape, is absolutely horrendous to listen to.
I can't even listen to it.
It sounds like this 2 voices coming out of her at the same time.
Really?
It sounds like dogs howling while she's talking. And she sounds so scary that if you listen to that tape, I swear it, you feel like you're going to bring something into your house. It is a horrific tape to listen to. But it's also very fascinating. And, these are the things that I love about what we do. Like, for instance, I can jump around, but we did a movie called The Possessed on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it featured 7 children that said they were possessed. So the first questions that we asked them was, how do you feel and what happens when you're possessed to know that you feel that something's coming on? They say that they want to hurt their family. They want to hurt themselves. They feel that the possession's coming on. So what happens? and they, what, do you have in common with all these other kids to see, what we can find out, what's really going on. Well, they all listen to death metal music, which I'm not saying is a thing, but they all listen to very death metal type music. They all lived in dark corners of, like, they moved their beds into the basement, limestone, wet, dark basements. They had to be in the dark. That was important to them. They all were cutters. They all cut themselves. They all were bleeding. They were cutting themselves for pain. And then one thing they said, that every time they felt that the possession was coming on, they would hear the sound of a marching army, the sound of a trumpet, the sound of drums marching towards them.
Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah, remember that? And
yes.
And what was fascinating is that it was uncanny that they all said that same thing. But what was really uncanny is if you read the 1949 Exorcist diary, it says that when the boy became possessed, he heard the sound of drums, the sound of marching, and the sound of trumpets.
I don't know if it was you that told me that, but I've heard that besides.
Yeah, I think it was at our lecture. I said that.
I think it was.
Yes. Yeah, so that's and I had to say, I got so much goosebumps reading that, because I said, finally, there is something that shows some kind of proof of either God or the devil, because I'll tell you why I say God, because the devil, they say that when they felt the devil's coming to them, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Well, the point is, in the Bible, it states that when you're going to fight the devil and its army, I will be there with a marching army and the sound of drums and Gabriel and the trumpet.
Yes.
See? So I'm getting goosebumps talking about this, because this is an incredible true sign of religion. I love it, because, and I'm not making this shit up. You can't make this shit up. You can't. It's incredible. And I just felt so powerful to be able to put that puzzle together. I really felt honored,
Yeah, yes. I remember you telling me now. You gave me goosebumps, and actually I got them. You said that. I remember that now.
I can't tell you how many times I get goosebumps just researching the stuff that comes in. Like, Chris has so many items coming in. I don't even know what items have attachments or which ones have the attachments that are happening around us.
Do you know what the most evil attachment is, guys? The bloody one that people keep sending, that is this you in video? So you click it and then you spam 100 people and you're causing a hacking. That is
the worst.
That's possession, man. People, stop sending these messages. Stop clicking on them.
I know. I just did that too.
I seen that the other day. Somebody sent me one of those. I just went over delete. Actually,
if I was in a video and I was totally naked and my sarong was hanging out, okay, it wouldn't be hanging out on Facebook.
And I would know about it, okay?
And you get this message like, Christopher, is this you? So you've got to click it to find out if it's you. And then once you click it, you just got hacked. And they send that same message to like 100 people.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You killed him. Look what you've done.
You know what I'm going to do, Shane? Next time somebody says, is this you in video? I'm going to shoot something really dirty and send it. But no, this is me on video.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, I swear. Woo! I love how this ends up, man. That's some good stuff. Always fun with you guys. Always. Look, guys, I tell you what, you're headed up. What do you said next week? You're headed where?
I'll give you a quick rundown right now. Yeah. As of September 6th and 8th, which is next week, September 6th and 7th, we're doing the Silicon Cross County Mall in Mattoon, Illinois. And basically, it's like a shopping mall, and they set up all these paranormal people there. And it's really cool, and it's free to get in. And all the vendors sell this stuff. And then there's also a place where people talk about, the lectures, and that's free. That's in Mattoon, Illinois, on the 6th and 7th of September. That very evening, we're doing a ghost hunt.
With the very lovely Chad Lindbergh at Ashmore Estates.
And there's tickets available. If you go to ashmoreestates.net, you can get some tickets there. And it'll be our only ghost hunt this year that we're doing. And then after that, we're doing the incredible Scare Fest, September 12th to 15th. And I'm looking so forward to it, and our huge array of booths.
No one else is going to be there because it's all our booths, right?
It's going to be us. And
they should just change it to the Booth Fest.
You got Dee Snider, you got Bruce Campbell, Linda Blair, everybody else that's coming. Lots of people. TWC, Ghost Brothers, Ghost Hunters, Dave and Steve, and just everybody else.
All the
cool
people.
Stuff, really cool people. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. Then after that, we're doing Paranormal Toledo. And if you guys haven't been to the Collingwood Arts Center in Toledo, Ohio,
oh my God,
it is an old nunnery, and it looks like an old nunnery.
And it's creepy and amazing.
And there's
yeah, you should just come.
A convention going on inside, and then people talk, and it's Jason is putting it on, and all the money goes to help save that place. It's an incredible haunted nunnery.
And
it's
there's
incredible.
like this creepy looking statue in there. It's one of the original, like one of the only original religious items left in there. And it's so creepy. It's like, is she going to haunt you? Like,
oh my goodness.
Nuns are pretty creepy in general. They really are. But anyway, then after that, we're doing Ash Bash at Ashmore Estates on October 11th. Then after that, we're going back to the great Ursula's Chicago Ghost Conference at the Holiday Inn in Chicago on October 18th and till the 20th. And that will be a great show. It always is. And then after that, we're going to Old Mill Parafest, Dundee, Michigan. And that's on November 9th, and that's going to be fun. And then after that, we're doing Atlanta, Georgia, Oddities and Curiosities Expo, November 16th. Now that place is great because that you can go and it's like a circus
sideshow,
goth freak show, great thing, and we're there. So there you go.
It's pretty awesome.
It's a fabulous show. We've done so well. We've done 3 of them this year. It brings in up to 8,000 people.
Oh wow!
It's incredible, and it's people selling
bizarre
taxidermy stuff and voodoo and hoodoo and witch stuff and all kinds of stuff, and then fits in exactly what we're selling, what we're doing. So there you go.
And then at the end of November, we're doing our last auction of the year, Black Friday auction. So
guys, don't miss out on that. Don't miss out.
Money's ready because you'll want to have some.
Yeah, we're gonna have some I've been actually saving, just so you know, I've been getting stuff all year to sell at this November Black. It's actually, I'm gonna give you a date right now, what it is, because we haven't announced it yet. So let me give you a quick date here right now as soon as my calendar comes up.
I've had to pry things out of his hands and say, no, honey, they do have to go to the
auction. I can see you doing it too, Rachel. That's the thing.
The 29th.
I just want you to know this was mango and pineapple with an orange inside of it. So,
oh, sure.
It was my fruit juice.
It'll be either the last week of November or the 3rd week of November. We haven't decided yet, but it's going to be our Black Friday, and I have been getting stuff all year for this sale, and stuff from Tibet. I've got stuff, exorcism stuff.
We've got some really cool Asian witchcraft books, which are really
witchcraft
and very cool.
Are they translated?
No,
those are the ones I've seen the pictures of.
Yeah,
they aren't translated, but they're incredible, and actually
really
they're pretty easy to start understanding the symbols, because the symbols you can easily translate. But the thing is, and I noticed they're very pro witchcrafts and more of a white magic. We don't deal, just so you know, we don't deal in anything dark. We're not getting rid of stuff that's dark, or we push, stuff to hurt people at all. Even the voodoo is not a bad thing unless you decide to take it that way. Voodoo is a Catholic, part of a Catholic mixture of that African and Native American, and that also ended up in hoodoo as well. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
so, but it's just really good stuff. And we handpicked this stuff. Like I got some death masks today from France.
So cool.
I got some beautiful crucifixes from France today that
man.
is so hard to part with. Oh my God. It's like watching a 1492 Christopher Columbus arriving somewhere. And there's these old Spanish, French crucifixes, you know?
Oh,
my
wow.
God. You know, it's incredible.
I tell you, these we got 3 in particular that are just amazing, and I'm like, I want to keep them all. And Chris goes, "We got to get rid of them. We got to make money." But I'm going to keep this one, and I'm like, "What? I don't get to pick one."
Well, we spent so much money.
But he's picking one.
Well, we spent so much money collecting all this stuff for a year to sell out at the auction. So there you go.
I'm finding out right now how many crucifixes he has in his office right now. Like he needs another one.
Mr. Q's got nothing on me.
Oh, Lord. Well, we're out of time. Actually, we're right on time, but we're out of time. I know I hate it. But if I don't get this off here, I'll never get it on the other side of the channels.
Yeah.
As always, I've loved it, and I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys at Scarefest. I get 3 days with them. Woohoo!
We definitely got to have a drink, and I look forward to hanging with you and your beautiful wife and everybody else. And like I said, if you guys want to hit Ashmore Estates, get that. That's coming up next week. If not, we'll see you at Scarefest, so somewhere out there on the road. And we just wanted to take the time saying we really appreciate your support in us and your belief in us. All we're trying to do is do what we do, and we try to do it from a emotional, passionate side. It's not necessarily the most successful side in the sense of commercialism on television, but I can only do one thing, is that's tell the truth, do it emotionally, and help the underdog. And that's what we do in our paranormal shows. And thank you for everyone that gets it, you know, actually gets what we're trying to do out there, because it's really about the souls and the spirits, not about the ghost hunters or their location, even though, you know, both of them definitely sometimes needs to have help. But at the same time, God bless you, and thank you for everything you guys give our way.
Thank you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
thank you for everybody that listened in, because without your support, we couldn't do what we do. And that's to help people to pass on and to help buildings. We want to do that too. So we appreciate everybody and their support.
And just like I said, I'm always here. If you ever need to get anything out, you know, holler at me. I'll be more than welcome to help. Like
Well,
always.
thank you very much. All right, God bless you. See you soon, Shane.
All right, thank you so much, guys. All right, guys, that's it for the night. Just like I said, and they already jumped off. Boy, they some quick people. I love them to death. All right. Look, guys, get on www.paranormalhighways.net. Go on there, subscribe. Facebook and Twitter are on there. If you're into the mood of paranormal and want to go ghost hunting, get on www.ghosthuntweekends.com and get your ultimate paranormal fan experience. Hey, we're going to be in Wilmington, North Carolina this weekend. Come down and see us, guys. There's only a few tickets left. After that, we don't have much of anything. And I know we got some things coming up, and I don't even have anything wrote down because I've been lazy today, but forgive me. But go on www.ghosthuntweekends.com. They have a calendar and a list of everything you need to know. Get your tickets. Come out and see us. Night, everybody. We love you. Thank you for being here. And always and forever, stay spooky.